So there's nothing better than a cool sliding door that you can find in a sci-fi game. In this case, I picked up a nice little assets here where we have this little spaceman, and we have this sci-fi environment that he can ride through. And while he's running through, these doors open and close. I'll show you how to do that in Unity with Playmaker. So once again, we can run through it. We see the doors open. And when you get yourself a good distance from it, they close. Run back up to them, and they'll open again, and you can run through it. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and take this door and drag it off to the side here, because we want to start from scratch with it, and we'll start with a blank space. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and drag in the door frame and the door itself. So we can see we have the two of those there. For the hierarchy, I want to go ahead and take the doors themselves and the door frame, and I want to put them together. So I'm going to drop the doors under the door frame just to make it so this is all compartmentalized together. Next, I'm going to line them up to make sure that they're actually integrated and they'll be able to slide without collisions. So if we zoom in on this and look around, we can see it's on the inside, and let's line it up so it's right in the middle as best we can. Now, something I like to do is just sliding it side to side just to check and make sure that I don't see it clipping anything. And I'm going to check the back here as well, and we can see it's totally clear. We don't have anything clipping back out. All right, so let's rotate it into position and move it into the spot we want it to go. So I want it right here, and I got to drop that a little lower. And with that, that should look pretty good when we get into the actual gameplay. Let's take a look. And I'll drag over the screen just to make it visual. You can see the door looks pretty good. Alright, next thing, let's jump into the Playmaker side of things. So we have this entirely integrated door and door frame, and we're going to go ahead and grab the Playmaker FSM. So we're going to create a brand new one. We're going to click Add FSM. And I'm going to call this Door Controls. From here, let's select the first state, and this one's going to be distance. This will tell when the player is close. The next state we want to type in is open doors. And the final state will have closed doors. And we're going to use the finish state for all of these to link them together. So I'm going to go and put finish here. By right-clicking, go add transition, finish, and then transition, finish. These are all linked together now so that we can go ahead and link them. All right, next up. We have all of those put together, and those should be pretty good. But let's go ahead and start implementing what needs to happen on the insides. So distance to player. We want to know exactly when the player gets to a certain proximity to the door that it opens, and then equally when it closes. The first one we're going to do for that is just distance. So if you type in distance from the action browser, you'll get distance. Let's add that in, and we're going to say from a specific object, and I'm going to choose the top layer door here, and then I'm going to go to my little astronaut, which is stylized astronaut. So I'm just grabbing those items and dragging them here. We get a nice get distance, and you can see it says 7.2. That's pretty good. Let's go ahead and put this as a new variable we're storing, and I'm going to say player to door, right? And that's pretty easy to remember. Now, we've collected how far the player is from the door. Let's determine when we will transition. And the best way to do that, most people would go for an if, but you can't do that. You're going to do a compare. So you're going to go float compare, because this saved item is a float. So we're going to go ahead and say, hey, player to door, and then we're going to compare that to, and I'm going to use a hard fixed value of 5. That should be pretty good. Actually, let's make it a little less. Let's make it 3. So when you get 3 units away from the door, we're going to say less than triggers the finish state. So now if you have less than 3 units from the door, you're going to go ahead and move to the close, or in this case, open door state. And then let's go ahead and copy these two. We're going to use the same get distance and the float. And we're going to say, hey, now if you get beyond 3 or 5 in this case, we're going to say greater than triggers the finished. Now this will make it so that the open doors will switch to closed doors. All right, with all of these set, we want to make sure that every frame is checked for each of these. This will make sure that every frame that goes by, it's checking this get distance and its float comparing it to see if this is valid. All right, let's go ahead and see how this goes when we play. All right, observe that we're at 7 away, and when we walk within 3, it goes to open doors. But then when our player turns around and walks away past 5, it then triggers the closed doors and back to monitoring the distance. So that worked. That looks pretty good. But still, we can't get through the doors. So let's go ahead and start moving those doors around. So we're going to go ahead and jump back out of the play button here, and we'll go to the editor. And we need to do something with these individual doors. So if we zoom in on these, right, we could see that this is broken into a left and a right door. They're a little backwards, but I'm going to rename them here. We're going to call this one the left, just so it's easy to see. And then we're going to call this one the right, so that's easy to see. And I'm going to go ahead and rename all of these at the moment. So both doors, and then full door frame. So now we have a full understanding of everything that's happening there. So let's go ahead and start moving them. The way that's going to work is we're going to go back to the open doors state here. So we got the distance, we got the comparison, but when we get to the state, we want these doors to move. The way that's going to work is we're going to go ahead and use the move object. Now, many tutorials out there are going to tell you that you might want to use the iTween Move To, which is pretty nice. It's got some good features, but it's a little intensive with performance versus this is pretty straightforward. So we're going to go ahead and say we're moving a specific object and we're going to take it to a destination. This is why this one's a little bit more complex, but you're going to see that it works out better. So under both doors, I'm going to go ahead and add something new, right? We're going to go ahead and create an empty, and this empty is going to be named, let's say, right door open, right? I'm going to copy and paste that one, and then I'm going to rename it and call it right door closed. Now I can copy both of these and paste them again, and we're going to name a left door open, left door close. So let's type that in, left door open, left door closed. And we'll take that duplication part off of there. With this, we have an individual marker for each one of these in the states they get to. So for the right door, we have right door open. Let's grab this, move it over here, and call that good there. Right door closed. We'll leave it in the middle. Left door open, and we'll go ahead and move that off to the left here. And let's give this a shot with the free state machine. So we're going to say, hey, we want to grab the left door, and we're going to move it to left door open. And we're going to keep that all as is, so it's just the same speed. You could move these around if you want, but I want it to take 1 second, same speed, same delay, no delay, just a linear move, no reversing, no finish event, and real time is not checked. Now I'm also going to copy this, and I'm going to paste this over here, and I'm going to say left door closed for this state when we're closing the door. So now we should see the left door move entirely open or close following the 4 different empties that we put here. Let's go ahead and give that a try. Okay, our state machine is up, we're running, and let's see what happens when we get a little closer to these doors. So we get within 3 and the door opened. Now something we can observe is that there was a little clipping. It popped itself out of the side here. So what we'll need to do is we'll need to take the left door open position and move it a little bit inward. And I'll bet you we'll have to do the same thing with right door open, but let's see what happens when we walk ourselves backwards out of range. Look at that, the left door close came pretty close. There's a little gap, but if you get close, you can see it opens, and then when you walk away, it closes. So that's pretty good so far. Let's do it for the right side. All right, so we've got the left door moving pretty good. Let's go ahead and grab that open position, move it a little bit inward so it's not blocking. The closed position actually needs to cross a little bit as well. And I'm assuming the right door is going to have the same thing, so I'm going to bring that in a little bit and bring the right door in a little bit. Now, back to the free state machine. We'll copy this, paste it, and we'll choose the right door open. Copy that, paste it here, and do the same thing. Now, right door closed. This should work as is. So now we've got the distance shown, we got both of the doors programmed, and the door's open, and when we walk away, the door's closed. And they look pretty good. We can go ahead and now run around the entirety of this lab, and when we run ourselves back through, the doors open and close as we wanted. Okay, we're out of the editor view, but let me go ahead and show you this. You can run up to the door, and it opens. And if you walk yourself away from it, it closes. So that worked pretty well. And we could see the free state machine running over there on the side, doing its thing. And now we can get around a lab with actual working doors, just using a couple empties and the move tool built in to Unity Playmaker. All right, hope you enjoyed the video. If you need any other tutorials or anything like that, or you're looking for any other assistance, feel free to comment below. If you want to see more material like this, you could subscribe, and I hope this helped you out. Peace.